The HOA meeting had just ended, and the air still buzzed with Karen Whitaker's self-righteous tirade about property values and those people parking incorrectly. But nobody expected her to take it this far, standing in the middle of Maple Street, arms flailing like a dictator, blocking an ambulance with her sister, Carla, egging her on. The sisters, both heavy-set and dripping with entitlement, had decided today was the day to enforce their neighborhood's unwritten rules. Their target? An emergency crew racing to save a life. Karen's voice screeched over the sirens. "You can't park that thing here. This is a private community." Her floral blouse strained against her frame as she planted herself in front of the ambulance, her chins wobbling with every word. Carla, her mirror image in a leopard print top, nodded vigorously, clutching her phone to live stream their stand for justice. The paramedics, faces tight with urgency, pleaded for them to move. A crowd gathered, some shouting, others filming, as the sisters doubled down, oblivious to the ticking clock of a heart attack victim 2 blocks away. The Whitakers had ruled the HOA for years, their reign built on petty complaints and passive-aggressive notes slipped under doors. Karen, the elder, was the mastermind. Her knack for sniffing out violations was legendary. A mailbox an inch too tall, a dog barking after 8 p.m., she'd have a fine issued before breakfast. Carla, younger by 2 years, was her loyal enforcer, always ready to amplify Karen's wrath with a snide comment or a call to the city. Together, they were the HOA's self-appointed queens, feared and loathed by neighbors who whispered about their Karenocracy behind closed curtains. Today's drama began when the ambulance, rushing to aid Mr. Jenkins, a widower with a bad heart, turned onto Maple Street. Karen, fresh from her HOA victory over a neighbor's tasteless garden gnome, spotted the vehicle's tires graze a curb. To her, this was an affront, a violation of her meticulously curated street. She marched out, Carla in tow, and stood like a human barricade. "This is our neighborhood," Karen bellowed, jabbing a finger at the paramedic, a young man named Diego whose eyes flickered with restrained fury. "You don't get to tear through here like you own the place." Diego tried reasoning. "Ma'am, someone's dying. We need to get through." But Karen's face twisted into a sneer. "Dying? Please. Probably another one of those overdoses. We don't need that mess here." Carla cackled, her phone still recording, captioning the stream. "Protecting our streets." The crowd grew restless. A woman yelled, "Move, you idiots." A teenager filmed, whispering, "This is going viral." But the sisters stood firm, their egos ballooning with every second of attention. Across the street, Sarah Nguyen, a nurse who'd lived on Maple for a decade, watched in horror. She knew Mr. Jenkins knew his heart condition, his quiet kindness, his habit of leaving cookies for kids on Halloween. She pushed through the crowd, her scrubs still stained from a long shift. "Karen!" "Carla, get out of the way," she shouted. Karen spun, her eyes narrowing. "Oh, Sarah, always the hero. Maybe if you cared about property values, you'd understand why we're here." Sarah's fists clenched. She wanted to scream, but time was slipping away. Mr. Jenkins needed help now. The ambulance's siren wailed, a desperate plea cutting through the sisters' bluster. Diego radioed for police backup, his voice tight. "We've got 2 obstructing. Need assistance." Karen overheard and laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "Police? Go ahead. They'll side with us. We pay their salaries with our taxes." Carla chimed in. "Yeah, we're the victims here." Their arrogance was suffocating, a cloud of self-importance that choked the air. The crowd's murmurs turned to shouts. Someone threw a water bottle, narrowly missing Carla's head. She shrieked, "Assault! I'm pressing charges." But the tide was turning. Sarah, trembling with rage, stepped closer. "You're not victims. You're bullies. And you're killing someone right now." Her words hit like a slap, but Karen scoffed. "Killing? Don't be dramatic. We're protecting our community." Yet doubt flickered in Carla's eyes, her phone dipping slightly as Sarah's words sank in. The crowd pressed closer, their anger palpable. A man yelled, "You're monsters." Karen's smirk faltered, but she doubled down, shouting, "Back off. All of you." Then came the sound of another siren, police this time. 2 officers stepped out, their faces grim. Officer Martinez, a veteran who dealt with the Whitakers' complaints before, approached. "Ladies, step aside." Now, Karen's jaw dropped. "You can't talk to us like that. We're taxpayers." Martinez didn't flinch. "You're obstructing an emergency vehicle. That's a crime. Move, or you're under arrest." Carla's phone dropped to her side, her live stream capturing her sudden pallor. Karen, however, wasn't done. "Arrest? For what?" "Standing up for our rights." Martinez's patience snapped. "For delaying a life-saving response." "Cuff them." The crowd erupted in cheers as the officers moved in. Karen flailed, her voice hitting new octaves. "This is outrageous." "I'll sue." Carla, quieter now, looked like she might cry as the cuffs clicked around her wrists. The ambulance roared past the moment the sisters were pulled aside, its lights fading into the distance. Sarah sprinted after it, praying they weren't too late. The aftermath was brutal. The sisters' live stream, meant to glorify their stand, went viral for all the wrong reasons. Clips of Karen's tirade and Carla's smug laughter flooded social media, captioned with hashtags like Carinocalypse and HOA horrors. Neighbors posted stories of the Whitakers' past tyranny, fines for kids' chalk drawings, threats over untrimmed hedges. The HOA board, humiliated by the publicity, voted to remove them from leadership. Karen and Carla faced charges for obstructing emergency services, a felony that carried real weight. Their lawyer argued they didn't know it was a crime, but the judge wasn't swayed. "Ignorance isn't an excuse for endangering lives," he said, sentencing them to community service and hefty fines. Mr. Jenkins survived barely. The paramedics reached him just as his heart faltered, and Sarah's quick thinking in the hospital kept him stable. He later thanked her with a shaky smile, his voice weak but warm. "You're the real hero, Sarah." She brushed it off, but the neighborhood didn't. They rallied around her, leaving flowers and notes at her door. The Whitakers, meanwhile, became pariahs. Their once pristine lawn sprouted for sale signs, but no one bit. Who'd want to live in the shadow of the Karen sisters? Months later, Karen and Carla sat in a community center, picking up litter as part of their sentence. Karen muttered about injustice, but Carla was silent, her eyes fixed on the ground. For the first time, she seemed to feel the weight of their actions. The neighborhood had changed without them. The HOA loosened its grip, and Maple Street felt alive again. Kids played, neighbors chatted, and Mr. Jenkins waved from his porch. The sisters' reign was over, their legacy a cautionary tale etched in viral infamy. The crowd that day on Maple Street learned something vital. Standing up to bullies, even ones as loud as the Whitakers, could shift the world just a little. Sarah, Diego, and the others who spoke out weren't just saving Mr. Jenkins, they were reclaiming their community. And as the sisters faded into obscurity, the street bloomed with a quiet, hard-won hope. No one would let the Karens win again. The end.